Good morning. It's that time of the year again where I see every dude in LA who wears like a sock hat, you know, like a ski hat, winter hat. First of all, they're wearing a winter hat and it's Los Angeles. And I know it gets chilly here, but they all want to wear it the same way, like they're a smurf. Like it's not rolled, it's just sitting there, and then they have it tall, but then they fold it over. All exactly the same way. I can't go to Trader Joe's this time of year because every dude in there is doing the same thing. And it's you'll see 20 dudes with this smurf hat on. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. It's this thing, and all the women are dressed like Han Solo from Star Wars. Right? They've got the tall, dark leather boots on with leggings and like a white sweater and a dark vest. Everybody dresses the friggin' same. It is the craziest thing. I was home. I did this. I've been talking fashion lately, like I'm some sort of fashion icon or something. I've never really. I mean, I've had these conversations. The discussion has come up before, but I never put that much thought into how different. And you're probably just like me. If you're watching me, probably the same thing. It's not that big of a deal. But it's just, I never realized how different I am with that sort of thing. And like how you are, I don't know, man, how to put it. Most people want to conform. I am against conformity, man. Be an individual, be different. I was home, I think it was 2011. I think it was that summer. It could have been 2005. Maybe it was, I think that was the summer. I remember I was home. And I was riding motorcycles every day at that time. And so my normal, wear was Levi's. And I still own these Wesco engineer boots and a leather jacket. And that's it. Leather gloves when I was riding and all that. And it wasn't, wow, you are terrible. What are you doing? That's just stupid. It's a green light. You're the one who's fouling up. This lady didn't turn, and now she's blocking traffic in the middle of the intersection. Wow. Wow. I can't turn the camera around, I'm doing it, but you should have seen it. The light turned green, and this lady pulled out in the middle of the intersection, and the other oncoming traffic was going, and she was just jamming up everything. Women, no, I'm just kidding. I mean, you're not the worst drivers. You just shouldn't vote. I don't want to go off topic. I want to stay on this fashion thing and this story I was going to tell you. But I did see this thing this morning. It was a Ben Shapiro short where he played this woman talking about how women, if they took the vote away from women, the whole country would be Republican. And the only thing supporting the Democrats are liberal single females, single liberal females. They're who is what the Democratic Party is, basically. I'm not knocking either or, I'm just saying it's a fact, just the statistics behind it. How I feel about it is a whole separate issue you don't need to hear about. Anyhow, I was home in 2005. I ran into this girl I knew when I was in college there. Gorgeous, still gorgeous. I saw her the last time I was home a couple of years ago, like the day before I left, and there's some pictures of us. And you can see it in some videos or on my Instagram. She is just stunningly attractive and this great ethereal kind of quality and everything. And in 2005, I had run into her and we had this little mini romance. It was pretty good. She broke my heart. She did though, bitch. I still love her. But she, we were hanging out one day and she says to me, it's kind of weird. Don't you think it's weird? Like, look how you're dressed. And I looked at her, I said, well, you know what I think is weird? I could go through your closet and then I could go through 30 girls here, and you all have the exact same wardrobe. You all have the exact same shoes, you have the exact same socks, you have the exact same leggings, you have the exact same sweaters, you have the exact same hair ties. You do your hair the same way. You're all the same. Don't you think that's weird? And she looked at me and you could see the light bulb like that went off in her mind, You don't even realize you're doing it. You don't realize, you think that like you have to conform to be like normal. People want to be normal. You want to be accepted in the larger group. You want to be part of the majority. So you do all this crap to fit in, which is this mind game. You know, like you're all being programmed by it. You don't even realize it. If you're watching all the current stuff, if you're watching current television, current movies, all that stuff, what you're actually being programmed. And it's like, okay, here's what these people are wearing right now, here's what they're driving right now, all this stuff. And so you want to just fit in. And because you want to fit in, you know, you end up with all the same stuff everybody else has. And it does help drive the economy, this machine that's going on all the time. But the reality is you don't need any of it. And that's why people end up throwing out clothes and everything. Now look, I've got way more stuff than I need. I got far more clothes than I can ever wear, and I still buy stuff. But all the stuff I buy is within it's still within the same design aesthetic that I like. I mean, I've got more, I can wear a different flannel every day of the week for probably about 2 weeks now. I've got too many vintage, super heavyweight, thick cotton flannels. It's ridiculous. I got a closet full of, you know, vintage Da Vinci shirts, you know, from the 90s when I was wearing all that stuff. And, you know, as a matter of fact, it's funny I'm talking about this right now, because last night before I went to bed last night, I was thinking about it. I was like, I gotta go through my stuff. I got way too much stuff just hanging in the closet, collecting dust, and some of the stuff I'm probably never gonna wear. I should do a fashion show video for you guys, and like, it's for sale. I'll just start modeling my own clothes. Start a whole new Instagram account, like, you know, buy Mike's old crap. Anyhow, that's all I wanted to say. It's funny about what we think is cool and how people want to fit in, and, you know, what you're wearing. And again, this conformity thing, it's a weird thing to me with the guys with the hats. I'm just disgusted by it, man. I'm freaking, what the hell is that? How do you leave the house, do this stupid thing with your hat? I talk about this almost every year because I'm flabbergasted by it. How do you look at yourself and go, yeah, this is cool? And then you go outside and you see every other dude, or you just go to Trader Joe's right now. I guarantee you're going to see 3 guys with the hat the same way. They're going to be wearing the hat exactly the same way. How do you do that? How do you go out doing that and then and be okay? It's just weird to me. If I see, that was the problem. Okay. This is going to be a longer video than I wanted it to be. I remember when I got out here in the 90s, like 92, and I was wearing engineer boots and jeans even back then anyhow. And I was on a movie set, and I met this girl, Lacey. She's cool, man. You know, we've had our ups and downs over the years. She's well known. Interesting looking redhead chick, really vivacious and outgoing. And, but she was a set dresser on a film I worked on. It was all location shooting. And she just liked me. So, you know, she was like, hey. Some funny stories from that movie. It was, I think it was called North's War. Brian Bosworth was the star of that. He broke a stuntman's nose, I remember, one day. he didn't have to like fight, like screen fight. He was okay though. He was nice to me. But she kept saying to me about this whole rockabilly thing. It's like, you got to go to this. It's, you know, everybody's like you. And I looked, I said, I don't want to be around a bunch of dudes that look just like me. That seems weird, you know? And for me, it was just working man, blue collar stuff. I grew up wearing, I mean, even though I beach surfing and everything, even back then, there's pictures of me with long hair and I was working at the Rock and Roll Club. And I'm still wearing jeans and boots and a leather jacket. I was always that kid, you know, because I was it's a long story, but that's kind of my pedigree, you know. My uncles all rode motorcycles and they got me on them when I was a little kid and all that. So, and then I remember falling into that crowd kind of in the 90s, like the late 90s, and going to things like the Hootenanny, which was cool. Like hootenanny events, and the blessing of the cars. Blessing of the cars was a cool thing out here in the valley. They'd get a priest, and it was a car show, motorcycle show. They had bands, they had vendors. A very cool thing to go to if you've never been to something like that, because it looks like you're in mid-century 20th century, like it's like the 1950s, early 60s, and 40s to early 60s, and everybody's wearing jeans and boots and flannels, and the girls are all dolled up, man. I mean, the hair and the makeup's very cool looking. I've always said to directors and producers I knew, like, you know, whatever story you're writing, you should shoot it around that time period or around that crowd. It could be modern day story taking place in modern day, but shoot it within that culture, because you're going to automatically get a cool looking vibe. You don't have to do much. It's there. That's just how these people are. So, real Americana, you know, like an individualistic, artistic, creative, red-blooded, patriotic Americans, they kind of like that stuff and dress that way, you know. And, but I remember going to those events, especially the hootenanny stuff, and feeling weird about it, because like the hootenanny in particular, that was people putting on a costume in large part for that event. They weren't walking around dressed like that all the time, like I was and a lot of my friends do. So that it was odd, and I don't feel comfortable with that. And then the other thing this is the other thing I learned when I was riding with motorcycle clubs and, you know, doing the stuff I was doing. And this one club in particular had this really cool clubhouse, and these guys would all show up. You talk to them, you get to know them, and you're like, oh, these guys are cool, and they're men. And the one thing I liked about hanging out with this one group in particular, the Cretans, I'll do a video on the Gridiron Rebels at some point, my involvement with that and how that all happened and getting out of it and all that, because it still comes up, and I'm still friends with a lot of those guys. But with the Cretan guys, they were cool. The thing I loved about them was if one of them mouthed off or gave you a hard time, you could just punch them right in the freaking face. Or wherever. You just knock somebody out. And that would happen from time to time. I fucked up a couple of those dudes. I don't like horsing around. Don't horse around me. You horse around me, you're going to get a dislocated shoulder or a broken nose or broken ribs or something like that. It's going to happen. But the other thing that I did like that. I like that part of it, because you could be a friggin' man around men. You know what I'm saying? Like the Rhodesian army. Be a man among men. That was their motto there. If you don't know that, it's another part of my life. But yeah, so you could be a man. You got a problem with it, dude? Bam! You still got a problem? Bam! You know, and then you have a couple beers afterwards, and you're better friends for it. And then, you know, 6 months later, bam! that just happens. Personality types, you know. But the thing I didn't like about these guys, some of them, not all of them, I'm not talking smack about everybody, but quite a few of these guys, in particular with the hot rod crowd and the motorcycle guys, they've got this tough guy thing and all that, but a lot of them were kind of like wishy-washy about things. And then especially when it came to the women and all of that, there was just something about it where I was like, what? It made me realize that I had a different vibe on it then. I'm more evolved now. I can look at it now, you know, from wisdom. At that point, I was pissed because I was like, you're just a bunch of freaking pussies, man. You're just dressing and acting tough, but you're really inside, you're a pussy. I've said that to people. It's not cool, man. And now I look at it like, well, no, we're all who we are, and we're into whatever we're doing. And if you're working on cars or you're riding motorcycles or something, you have to dress a certain way, because those are like kind of like work clothes, you know. That's just how that is. You're going to wear stuff that can take abuse, take a beating, look cooler as it ages and whatever. And when you wear it out, you throw it out, and then you get another one just like it. The funny thing is now, the stuff that's worn out that you would have thrown away 20, 30 years ago, people want that worn out stuff because they think it's cool to dress like a bum, like walk around literally dressed like a bum. That's what I should really do, is go through all my work clothes and just put like $500 for this pair of work pants that have paint stains on them and everything. I could probably sell that. Anyhow, don't be a conformist. Be an individual. Be you. Don't be afraid. Do what you want. Wear what you want. To hell with what everybody else thinks about what you're doing. Do what makes you happy. Be that 5-year-old kid wearing your Planet of the Apes costume to school. And that's all I have to say. You guys have a great day. I'll catch you on the next one. Be good to one another.